Hi, I'm Gahiji Akil, and this video is a little introduction to energy work for those that are new to it. Uh, I use the term energy work as an umbrella term to pretty much mean anything that is focusing on the subtle spiritual energy that is all around us, inside of us, um, everywhere basically. Uh, it includes, just to name a few of the things that I think would fall under it, would be things like yoga, which is very much focusing on mind, body, and spirit. Different martial arts, qigong, tai chi, and kung fu. All of those kind. They're working with chi, life force, and the body, and they're very much disciplined. So that's how they're incorporating the mind as well. And of course, the discipline affects the body too, and the spirit, because they're all connected. Um, Meditation, breath work, Reiki, which is what I do. And then there are so many other practices that people do and incorporate into their lives just to maintain wellness and a connection with, the infinite oneness and each other and spirit and ancestors. Ancestral work definitely falls under the category of energy work. So many different ways in which we can be engaging with our spiritual energies, which will definitely affect our mind, body, and spirit. Um, and so, how I see trauma is, I think that it's very prevalent. I think that everybody is walking around with some degree of trauma. Um, some folks know about their trauma and are actively dealing with processing, integrating, and healing. Some folks are completely unaware that they are acting out traumatic impacts from their childhood and potentially from their adulthood as well. It's not something that just that there is no time in our life when we can't be traumatized by something. Um, Now, there's certainly, just like everything, pretty much is on a spectrum. So is how we experience trauma. I like to think of it. One analogy that's helpful for me is kind of thinking of it as an impact. And so, at the moment of trauma, there's an impact, and how much that impact kind of changes us and shapes us, depends on many things. It depends on kind of the age of the impact when this happens to us, and how we're able to understand and process it at the time. So that's why we see a lot of things that come up for people in adulthood that they have not dealt with in childhood, because they did not have the tools to understand and process what had happened so that they could then heal it. And usually there are some kind of survival techniques and mechanisms that kick in that may be useful at the time, may never have been useful, but they are what happens. Um, and so we just begin to normalize these tactics. Sometimes we normalize them. Sometimes they pop up when we get triggered, and then we're just completely taken over by kind of something that feels like it's not necessarily us and what we want to do. Um, there's little choice when someone's severely triggered as to how they can react. So it is becoming more aware of our traumatic impacts and how and our triggers and what triggers them and how we react, and then learning to process and integrate, accept, heal from them. So energy work very much lends itself to doing that work of processing, integrating, and healing the trauma that we have experienced. Pretty much all forms can be used. Yoga is very much helpful for folks that have had some kind of traumatic impact on their body, to help them feel more in their space, more safer in their own body, and to help to like calm their. It's a helpful tool in calming their kind of inner dialogue. Meditation certainly. And there are many different meditations too that can be used. Some are meditations where you go basically to those points of impact, and you very much become an active participant in righting that wrong that has happened. So sometimes for what I have done is gone back to those moments, and if it was a person that did something, then I would very much correct that person, and I would very much console myself. And that I have found to be very helpful, a very helpful technique. Now, Reiki and other energy work that is can be helpful in that is more spirit led than body led, than something like yoga. Just like meditation is something that I would say is more kind of mind spirit than body. The body certainly follows in relaxation and lowering, our heart rate, our stress levels. So it follows suit, but it's more an engagement of the mind. Whereas Reiki, the body's there and it's, working, but it's very much engagement in the kind of subtle and spiritual energy. And so it can help in the body. Like I said, the body will fall in line as we are doing these things to relax and focus and imagine something different, something better, different ways of being, which we then incorporate into our actual way of being. And it helps us to notice ourselves more, and where we're acting out of, why we're acting out,